Chapter 1. The Encounter Beneath the Binary Suns. The twin suns of Zalthara hung low in the sky like blazing sentinels guarding an ancient world, their harsh light casting a relentless glare across the sprawling deserts of crystalline sand. Each grain sparkled with an otherworldly iridescence, shifting and shimmering as though the desert itself breathed beneath the weight of the burning sky. The air was thick with heat and the faint metallic tang of minerals blown across the barren landscape, where jagged rock formations thrust like broken spires into the shimmering horizon. In this unforgiving wilderness, where survival demanded not just skill but a certain ruthless ingenuity, a lone figure moved with measured determination. Elias Varen was a man shaped by countless journeys into hostile frontiers, his skin weathered and scarred, his eyes sharp and unwavering despite the fatigue etched into the lines of his face. He had been sent to chart these unclaimed reaches, a scout for the Coalition's exploratory division, tasked with uncovering the secrets of worlds forgotten or hidden by time. His was a mission of discovery, but also of caution, for Zalthara was known in whispered legends as a planet where the sands concealed far more than just bones and ruins. The harsh beauty of the landscape belied a tangled web of danger-ancient predators, sudden storms of razor-sharp dust, and the ever-present threat of hostile sentience whose technology was rumored to rival the most advanced fleets in the Coalition. Elias's boots crunched against the glittering sand as he advanced deeper into a canyon carved by millennia of wind and occasional seismic fury. The walls rose steep and jagged, casting long shadows that seemed to retreat under the twin suns' glare, offering scant respite from the heat. His breath was steady, practiced. He moved with the silence and alertness of a predator, senses attuned to the faintest whisper of movement. Every shift in the breeze, every flicker of light across the cracked stones, could herald an ambush or reveal a clue. Yet despite the vigilance honed by years of hardship, Elias could not shake the feeling that he was not truly alone. Suddenly, amidst the golden haze, his gaze caught an anomaly, a figure crouched just beyond a rocky outcrop, illuminated faintly by the dying sun. The silhouette was unlike anything Elias had expected, slender, delicate, yet undeniably alive. The creature's skin shimmered with a translucent glow, hues of violet and emerald mingling in patterns that pulsed softly with every breath. It was a form at once alien and ethereal, a living embodiment of the desert's hidden mysteries. The figure's large, luminous eyes locked onto Elias's with an intensity that pierced through the harsh light, and from those eyes came a plea that transcended language and reason. "I require your bravery, human." The alien girl's voice was soft but urgent, carried on a strange melody that resonated deep within Elias's chest. "The fate of my people and perhaps yours rests in your hands." Elias's heart quickened as he stepped forward cautiously, every instinct screaming both warning and curiosity. The girl rose slowly, revealing more of her form, slender limbs etched with intricate bioluminescent markings that shifted and writhed like living tattoos, hair that floated like liquid silver caught in a silent breeze, and a presence that radiated both fragility and fierce determination. Her name, she would soon tell him, was Silera, a last emissary of a dying civilization whose planet had been ravaged by war and betrayal. Her people's survival depended on an ancient power hidden within the heart of Zalthara, a power that only a human like Elias, fearless and resourceful, could hope to unlock. As the suns dipped lower, casting the canyon into an eerie twilight, Elias listened to Silera's desperate tale, a story of cosmic wars, shattered alliances, and a secret buried beneath the sands that could tip the scales of galactic balance. The weight of her plea settled heavily on his shoulders, challenging everything he thought he knew about bravery, loyalty, and the price of hope. In that moment, amid the dying light of two suns and the vast silence of a desert world, Elias realized that his journey had transformed from a mere mission of exploration into a battle for survival, not just for himself, but for an entire universe on the brink of darkness. Elias's breath caught in his throat as the alien girl stepped fully into the light, the dual suns casting her shimmering form in hues that shifted like a living prism. Her eyes, vast and radiant with a depth that felt almost otherworldly, never wavered from his own. There was a vulnerability there, yes, but also an iron resolve, a courage that spoke of lifetimes of hardship far beyond what any human could imagine. Her voice, when she spoke again, was calm yet urgent, rippling with a strange melodic cadence that resonated deep inside Elias's chest. "My name is Celera," she said, her words flowing smoothly despite the alien tongue from which they came. "Our world, once a cradle of knowledge and peace, has fallen into shadow. Forces beyond our reckoning have awakened ancient powers, and only one outside our race has the strength and resolve to aid us." Elias wiped the sweat from his brow, his curiosity ignited despite the fatigue weighing on his limbs. "Why me? What makes you believe I have this strength?" Celera's gaze softened, a flicker of sorrow passing through her luminous eyes. "Because you have faced the void and refused to turn away. Because your kind carries within it a spark of hope and bravery that transcends the stars. And because the fate of many rests on your shoulders now." The canyon around them seemed to still, the desert wind momentarily silenced, as if the very world held its breath. Elias felt a mixture of awe and disbelief wash over him. He was no hero, just a man surviving the farthest reaches of a harsh galaxy. But in that moment, Celera's plea was a call he could not ignore. Her people's survival, the balance of power in a galaxy teetering on the edge of chaos, now depended on the bravery of one human. With a determined nod, Elias extended his hand. "Then show me what I must do." Celera's smile was faint but genuine, a fragile beacon in the vast emptiness. "Come with me. The journey ahead will test your courage as never before." As the twin suns dipped toward the horizon, Elias and Celera set forth, two unlikely allies bound by fate, and the fragile hope that even in the darkest corners of the universe, bravery could light the way. Chapter 2. The Trials of the Shattered Veil. The path that Elias and Celera embarked upon was unlike any journey the human scout had faced in his years of wandering the cosmos. Beyond the scorching deserts and crystal sands of Zalthara, their destination lay buried beneath layers of forgotten histories, shrouded by the mysterious phenomenon known only to the ancients as the Shattered Veil, a rift in space-time that fragmented reality itself. It was said that those who crossed the veil entered realms where time and matter bent and twisted, where past and future collided, and where the very laws of existence were rewritten. Few had dared approach, and fewer still had returned. As they traveled deeper into the planet's heart, the terrain shifted from the harsh sunlit dunes to a labyrinth of jagged canyons, where shadows pooled like ink beneath towering cliffs. The twin suns above seemed distant here, their light fragmented into shimmering shards that danced across the cracked walls. The air was cooler, yet heavy with an electric charge that set the hairs on Elias's arms on edge. The ground beneath their feet hummed faintly, as if the planet itself was alive, watching their progress with ancient awareness. Celera moved with grace and purpose, her footsteps silent but sure as she led Elias through hidden passages and narrow ledges carved by eons of wind and water. Her bioluminescent markings glowed softly in the dim light, casting ethereal patterns that flickered like living constellations upon the stone. She spoke little during the trek, her thoughts seemingly focused on the path ahead, but when she did speak, her voice carried the weight of millennia. "The Shattered Veil is more than a physical rift," she explained during a rare moment of rest. "It is a threshold between worlds, between realities, and between the living and the echoes of those long past. To pass through it is to confront not just the dangers of the unknown, but the truths buried within one's own soul." Elias listened intently, the gravity of her words sinking into his bones. He had faced danger before: hostile aliens, rogue machines, treacherous landscapes, but the idea of a place where reality itself unraveled was unlike anything his training had prepared him for. Yet, there was no turning back. The fate of Celera's people, and perhaps countless others, depended on what lay beyond the veil. Their journey was punctuated by trials that tested both body and mind. Strange creatures, born from the fractured energies of the rift, lurked in the shadows, beasts that flickered in and out of existence, their forms distorted and unstable. Elias's rifle was useless against them. Only quick reflexes and a steady nerve kept him alive. Celera's psychic abilities shimmered to life in these moments, weaving shields of shimmering light and striking with bursts of pure energy that seemed to harmonize with the veil's unstable fabric. But it was the mental trials that proved most harrowing. As they neared the veil, Elias began to experience visions, flashes of memories that were not his own, glimpses into alien lives and forgotten histories. The boundaries between his identity and the collective consciousness of countless souls blurred. He saw worlds rise and fall, civilizations birthed in fire and buried in silence, and a destiny intertwined with Solera's in ways he could barely comprehend. One night, as they camped beneath a canopy of crystalline trees that sang softly in the alien breeze, Elias confided in Solera. "These visions, they shake me. I feel as if I'm losing myself, becoming part of something vast and ancient. How do I hold on to who I am?" Solera's eyes reflected the starlight, deep pools of understanding. "By embracing the fragments, not fearing them. Your strength lies in your humanity. The very thing that makes you brave is your ability to hold hope amid uncertainty. The veil will challenge you, but it will also reveal who you truly are." Days blurred into nights as they navigated the fractured landscape, until finally, the shattered veil loomed before them, a swirling maelstrom of energy and shadow, a gateway torn open between the very fabric of space-time. Its surface shimmered and rippled like liquid glass, distorting the air and warping light. The ground trembled beneath their feet, the pulse of the veil echoing in their bones. Solera took Elias's hand, her touch grounding him as the storm of unknowns surged around them. "Together, we cross. Together, we face what awaits." With a deep breath, Elias stepped forward into the veil's shimmering depths, the world around him dissolving into fragments of light and shadow. Time fractured, memories intertwined, and the future waited unwritten and infinite on the other side. Chapter 3: Echoes of Eternity and the Burden of Choice. Emerging from the shattered veil was like waking from a dream into a world both familiar and unfathomably alien. The air around Elias and Solera shimmered with a vibrancy that defied the laws of physics as he understood them. Colors bled into one another, and the sky stretched infinitely, a kaleidoscope of stars and celestial hues that seemed to pulse with the heartbeat of the cosmos itself. Here, time was fluid, and reality bent at the whim of forces older than the galaxies. It was a realm where memory and possibility intertwined, and every step carried the weight of infinite potential. Solera's grip on Elias's hand was firm, yet comforting as they traversed this vast, ethereal expanse known as the echoes and astral plane that lay beyond mortal perception, where the souls of the past and the shadows of the future coexisted in a fragile dance. The ground beneath their feet was not soil or stone, but a shifting mosaic of light and energy, patterns that hinted at ancient codes and forgotten histories. Around them, the voices of countless ancestors whispered echoes of 1,000 civilizations, each with their own triumphs and tragedies, their hopes and regrets etched into the fabric of this timeless realm. Elias struggled to reconcile his human senses with the overwhelming sensory tapestry that enveloped them. His mind raced to grasp the enormity of what he was witnessing, the collective memory of the universe, the repository of every choice and consequence that had ever rippled through existence. Yet amid the vastness, Solera's presence grounded him. Her own eyes glowed softly with the resonance of her people's heritage, a beacon of purpose and clarity in the kaleidoscope of the echoes. Their journey through this astral plane was both physical and metaphysical. Solera revealed that only by understanding the past, by facing the echoes of her people's downfall and the sins of long-forgotten enemies, could they hope to unlock the power needed to save her world and others at risk. Elias's heart ached as visions unfolded before him. The rise and fall of the Dravari civilization, their noble aspirations twisted into a catastrophic war that had torn the cosmos asunder, leaving scars that bled into the present. Among the visions was a choice, a moment frozen in time where Solera's ancestors had the chance to alter their fate, but had faltered under fear and pride. Elias realized that this same choice was now before them. The power hidden within the shattered veil was a double-edged sword, capable of restoring balance or unleashing devastation. To wield it responsibly required more than strength. It demanded wisdom, sacrifice, and an unyielding commitment to hope. As they ventured deeper into the echoes, Elias's own memories intertwined with the ancestral voices. He confronted moments of his own past decisions made in desperation, losses that haunted his nights, and the fragile courage that had sustained him through countless battles. The realm forced him to see himself not merely as a survivor, but as a catalyst for change, a bearer of the legacy Silera sought to protect. One particularly harrowing vision showed a future torn by war and darkness, where the unchecked power of the Veil had shattered alliances and drowned worlds in shadow. Elias's breath caught as he understood the stakes. The fate of countless lives hinged not on might alone, but on the choices made in moments of despair and resolve. Silera's voice cut through the silence like a prayer. Bravery is not the absence of fear, human. It is the will to stand against it, to make the impossible choice because it is the right one. You carry the hopes of many within you. Will you bear that burden? Elias's response was steady, forged in the crucible of his journey. I will, because hope is the only thing worth fighting for. Together, they reached the heart of the echoes, a radiant nexus of energy where the past, present, and future converged. Here lay the shard of Etherian, the ancient relic said to hold the key to restoring balance. But as they approached, a shadow stirred, an entity born from the unresolved anguish and rage of the cosmos, a guardian and judge of those who dared seek the Veil's power. The confrontation was both physical and spiritual, a test of will and conviction. Elias and Silera fought not only for survival, but to prove their worthiness to wield the power that could save or doom their worlds. Their bond, forged through shared trials and unspoken understanding, became their greatest strength. When the shadow finally receded, acknowledging their resolve, the shard's light enveloped them. Power surged through Elias and Silera, binding their fates and igniting a new dawn for Zalthara and beyond. As they prepared to return to the mortal realm, Elias understood that their true journey was just beginning, a journey where bravery would be tested, sacrifices made, and the fragile light of hope fiercely defended against the gathering darkness. Chapter 4. The Crucible of Fate and the Courage Within. The moment they emerged from the shifting tides of the echoes was unlike any return from a journey across known space or distant star systems. The fabric of reality seemed to knit itself back together around Elias and Silera, the kaleidoscopic hues fading into the stark landscapes of Zalthara's surface. The twin suns blazed anew overhead, their heat a sudden and searing reminder of the harsh world that awaited them. Yet something had changed. An invisible weight of purpose settled upon their shoulders, the knowledge and power born from the heart of the astral realm searing into their souls like molten light. Elias felt it first in his bones, a fierce energy humming beneath his skin, the echo of ancient wisdom and boundless responsibility fused within his very being. Silera, too, was transformed, her radiant glow now tempered with the gravitas of one who had glimpsed eternity and returned, her eyes deep pools of resolve and tempered hope. Together, they had crossed the boundaries of existence, survived the judgment of cosmic forces, and emerged as bearers of a legacy that could alter the fate of not only their worlds but the entire galaxy. Their mission, however, was far from complete. The Shard of Etherian, the ancient relic pulsing with primordial energy, had granted them a fragment of its power, but that power was volatile, unpredictable, and deeply entwined with the very soul of Zalthara itself. The land around them seemed to pulse with this raw energy, the desert sands trembling beneath invisible currents, and the skies roiling with turbulent storms born of cosmic disturbance. The planet was awakening, responding to the ancient forces now rekindled within its core. Elias and Silera understood that the true crucible awaited not in the trials of the Veil or the echoes beyond time, but in the battle to protect this fragile new dawn. The mercenaries who had once pursued Silera were but pawns in a larger game, cosmic powers that hungered for the shard's might, willing to raise entire star systems to seize control. Armies of ruthless zealots and corrupted factions now converged upon Zalthara, drawn by the surge of energy that blazed like a beacon across the sector. As night fell, the first storm of the new era ignited the skies with violent fury. Lightning tore through the heavens, illuminating the jagged rock formations and shimmering dunes in stark, surreal contrast. Beneath this tempest, Elias and Silera prepared their defenses. Elias's skills as a seasoned scout and tactician were put to the ultimate test as he orchestrated fortifications using both ancient technology salvaged from the ruins and the newly harnessed energy from the shard. Silera's psychic powers had grown exponentially, her ability to manipulate the raw energy around them becoming a shield and sword alike. The first wave of attackers descended with terrifying force, a barrage of sleek war machines, cloaked infantry, and energy weapons that tore the desert night asunder. But Elias and Silera met them with a fierce unity. The ground itself seemed to respond to Silera's will, shifting sands rising like spectral guardians to slow the enemy's advance, while Elias directed counterattacks that exploited every weakness in the assault. Their combined might was awe-inspiring, a fusion of human tenacity and alien mysticism that sowed confusion and fear among their foes. Amid the chaos, Elias caught glimpses of the greater war unfolding, a cosmic ballet of forces ancient and unknowable, where every victory and loss rippled through the very essence of space-time. He understood that their struggle was but one thread in the vast tapestry of the universe, yet it was one that could ignite a chain reaction of hope or despair. Every decision, every sacrifice, bore the weight of countless lives and futures. As the battle raged, a quiet moment stole over the battlefield. Elias found Silera amidst the ruins of an ancient temple, their breaths heavy but spirits unbroken. The storm clouds above parted briefly, revealing the distant shimmer of the twin suns rising once more. In that fragile dawn, their eyes met, two souls bound by fate and courage, ready to face whatever darkness remained. "I required your bravery, human," Silera whispered, echoing her plea from long ago. "And you have shown it. But the true test is still ahead." Elias nodded, the resolve in his heart burning brighter than any star. "Then we face it together." As the first light of a new day bathed Zalthara in golden hues, Elias and Silera stood united, a beacon of hope in a galaxy on the brink, their story a testament to the enduring power of bravery, trust, and the unbreakable bonds forged in the crucible of fate. The battle that unfolded over the scorched dunes of Zalthara was unlike any conflict Elias had ever faced. It was not merely a fight of bullets and blades, but a clash of destinies, where the very fate of worlds hung precariously in the balance. Armies loyal to shadowed cosmic powers surged forward, their ranks swollen with zealots wielding devastating technologies twisted by greed and malice. Against them, Elias and Silera stood resolute, guardians of the ancient shard's light, wielding newfound powers that blended human grit with alien mysticism. Silera's presence was radiant, her bioluminescent markings blazing with an intensity born from the shard's essence. With a sweeping gesture, she summoned pillars of shimmering energy that spiraled upward, tearing through enemy formations and igniting the air with arcs of cosmic fire. Her voice carried over the chaos, chanting in the sacred tongue of her ancestors, weaving protective wards that rippled like invisible shields across their allies. Elias moved among their ranks like a tempest incarnate, his tactical acumen guiding precise strikes that dismantled enemy machines and sowed confusion in their ranks. Together, they were a force that blurred the line between myth and reality. Yet amidst the ferocity of the fight, Elias felt a growing weight settle within his chest, not just the physical toll of battle, but the crushing responsibility of the power they now bore. The shard was a living legacy, ancient and unpredictable, a beacon of hope and a potential catalyst for destruction. Every pulse of its energy resonated through his very soul, reminding him that the future was fragile, and their choices carried consequences beyond measure. Hours turned into an endless struggle beneath storm-darkened skies, until at last, the tide began to turn. The enemy forces, battered and disoriented, faltered before the combined might of Elias, Silera, and their allies. The desert winds carried the triumphant cries of the defenders, echoing through the canyons like a promise reborn. But victory was not without sacrifice. The landscape was scarred, ancient ruins shattered anew, and countless lives lost in the crucible of war. As the first rays of dawn pierced the gloom, Elias and Celera stood together upon a ridge overlooking the battered battlefield. The twin suns rose slowly, bathing the world in golden light that shimmered against the sparkling sands. Celera's eyes, still aglow with the shard's power, met Elias's with profound gratitude and quiet strength. "You have shown a bravery beyond measure," she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of countless lifetimes. "The legacy of the shard is safe because of you." Elias reached out, taking her hand gently. "We did this together, not just as warrior and alien, but as guardians of a future worth fighting for." In that moment, a new chapter dawned for Zalthara and beyond. The shard's energy settled into a gentle pulse, its wild power tempered by the courage and unity of two very different beings bound by fate. The galaxy, vast and tumultuous, now held a spark of hope, one that would inspire generations to come. As they turned from the ridge to face the rebuilding of a world and the forging of alliances across star systems, Elias knew that their journey had only just begun. Bravery, trust, and the unyielding will to protect life in all its forms would be the true legacy of their struggle. And in the vast expanse of the cosmos, beneath the watchful gaze of countless stars, the story of the human and the alien girl who sought aid became legend, proof that even in the darkest times, the bravest hearts could illuminate the path forward.